And we're back. So I think I'm going to go talk to some people here. I'm going to go first to Scotland Yard and talk to Nelligan again, or see if I can talk to him actually. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for here, but I don't want to brute force the neurons because there's so few of them, or the clues, whatever you want to call them. And I will try and talk to Nelligan again and see whether he sort of whether he'll give me something more on anything.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Sure. So he's not going to give me anything.
Locked.
And we're not missing anything here except evidence required. Oh. I think I just remembered what I actually need. I need what the evidence that I need for that, and that led me to thinking of something that I should go and check. So now that we know that both Carey and Nelligan Sr. were in Norway.
1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
So there's a lot of people here. And these are the ones that we're looking for right now, because there is such a thing as a harpooner. And that would make it would be more sensible for a harpooner to be successful in throwing a spear or a harpoon if you give everyone a harpoon. We don't know the chances really, but if you give all of these guys a harpoon, and they're pretty strong men, I would imagine that after 3 throws, these guys would be on top. If you'd have to successfully penetrate someone completely from one side to the other and stick him to a wall.
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual.
So these are log notes for wind and seeing whales and things like that.
This is the crew list.
One more thing, which because I don't think you can access this crew list again. After you've read it. So I didn't know that at the time. I thought it would be in some, the documents or whatever, but it wasn't. So I didn't really skim through it, but I looked through all of this and then it was gone. So I couldn't do something that I was wanting to do last time. So I can do it now. And we can look for people with the same initials as in the cigarette box, and then we already know the notebook belongs to Nelligan Jr. So we don't have to really place that anywhere. But here's already one. Peter Carey, who is the dead man, of course. Charles Ellison does not fit. Henry George does not fit. But then Patrick Cairns, a harpooner, fits, and then Pablo Coventral, harpooner fits. So 2 harpooners with the same initials. Then let's go through the other names as well, and those are the only 2 with the same name as the cigarette pouch. Now, the reason my thinking was that he was not a smoker, or he is not a smoker. Peter Carey is not a smoker. He's dead now, of course, but I'll just refer to him as being in existence because it just makes language and everything, thinking a lot easier. So Peter Carey might have had cigarettes on him, although he hadn't smoked for a long time. Cigarette, what's that in English? Well, just cigarettes, or the plant, or I can't remember it. Anyway, it goes old, so it dries up, and then it loses potency and everything, even if it's sealed tight. He could have the pouch on him, but it would make less sense that it would have cigarettes in it, or not cigarettes, but you know what I'm talking about. God damn it. And then that it would belong to one of these guys.
Log notes for July. Nothing special.
So I read through these before, and there actually was nothing really special there, as he suggests.
Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away.
So August 83, something happened. August of 83, something happened. And, there was another thing I wanted to look at before, but I couldn't because you can't access these things again. And now I can do it, which was also to see, because you can see that there is a Canadian Pacific Railway capital bond there. And I wanted to see if the page is torn exactly the same way, sort of, as the Pacific Railway thing, and it's torn differently, because I was thinking, if somebody tears the page, why would they tear a bond if they know that there's a bond on the other side, sort of. So that leads me to thinking that it doesn't really lead me to, well, it leads me to thinking, but it doesn't lead me to any conclusions, because if whoever stole the or whoever tore these pages, I'm thinking at the same time. So whoever tore these pages, they probably didn't know that there was a bond behind there, hidden away. So, but they also, like, who would want to tear these pages? I would imagine, someone's trying to hide something. So the mystery of the torn pages. Someone's trying to hide August. And they could have been torn, decades ago, or they could have been torn just recently. But the fact that there's a torn bond in the back sort of leads me to think that someone else tore the pages. But who would do that? Maybe it's because I'm not sure you can really make anything out of it. At least I can't. But someone was quickly trying to tear them after they already had the bond. But since it's torn differently, maybe it wasn't after. Also, I don't know about bonds, but I doubt they have any signatures. So they work basically, I guess, as a dollar bill or money, paper money.
Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. A torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
Right. So that leads us to towards the sailors, and I remember how to get them or find them. So we are going to Baker Street for now.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbor.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
So Wiggins enters the picture.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just gotta look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
All right. So Wiggins is looking for sailors, and we are going to Scotland Yard.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you.
Breathtaking.
All right, so another suspect. Liam Hurtley.
These are the suspect's belongings. A pen. Nothing unusual about it. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals.
All right, so we can clear the letter and see what he was writing before he was captured.
Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
And also, now I was stuck here again the second time, I remember, because I didn't do the obvious, which was
These are the suspect's belongings.
the abbreviation is here. So CPR, and that might be I'm not exactly sure what those are, those numbers yet.
I wonder if these are connected.
So
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
right, so we can put one and one together now. I forgot to do that last time because I knew that the abbreviation was there, but then I didn't know how to play the game, so I was just like trying to look for things to make me proceed, and then I just needed to compare that. But what we're going to do, as per usual, we're going to go and investigate other things further and then come back and interrogate him. So I'll also write down that the notes are gone and the tin box is gone. And they are the same thing. And also that the notes are here somewhere. So I think with the hotel, the mention of the hotel, it might be that Mycroft, Sherlock's brother, is sort of trying to he knows what pushes Sherlock's buttons, so he tries to sort of direct him into investigating something that he wants investigated. So the mention of the hotel with Nelligan Younger might be that. But let's on over here. And we're going to put the boot on the ground. Now,
these boots match the footprints exactly.
now we need to figure out whether Liam Hurtley was here in order to murder, or whether he's here because he sort of belongs here.
Who could do such a thing?
So it's not going to happen like that. And what was the other thing that we got? The letter. So we're gonna go and look at the letter as well, because we want all the data, all the knowledge that we can get from everywhere else except him. So then we can start putting his words into better context. So we are going to the chemist table, and so the last time I got it right on the second try, and this seems confusing, but it's a lot easier than I thought, and I misread the one thing, or misunderstood, because it had two possible sort of ways of understanding it, but we'll do it again now.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
Right, so how I understood the second one was that it should be added after, but not immediately after. So how it actually works is that you need to add it immediately afterwards. The way I thought about it was that I need to pour the oranges in first and then those in, but that was wrong. So then, because there's only 4 different colors, this puzzle becomes, because I was like, if there's more colors, then it's impossible for me. But because there's 4 colors, you can do it, or only 4 colors. So we'll start off with blue, and the way this works is there's 7 of them, and then you know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count the fucking 6. I was thinking about the number 7. So there's 6 here. So either you start off with a blue, or then you put blue second, and then you figure out what to do. That was what I first sort of deciphered from this. And then when I realized the colors are the same, then I realized that, oh, okay, so you need to put these last. So my first attempt was to put the 2 oranges sort of 4th and 5th, and then the colorless 5th, 6th and 7th. But then I just flipped them around. So because the orange is going to be 4th, well, 3rd or 4th, whatever, we know that we have to put the other blue in depending on how these are poured in. And because we know that orange needs a clearer color afterwards, then we know that there needs to be 1 space between the pouring of the oranges, which in turn means that there needs to be 1 space between the pouring of the blue ones. And so now I'm sort of going from memory, but I'm sort of trying not to skip any steps. But I think you put the green one in now, and then you put the blue in now, and now you're getting to the orange. So that was the green one, that's the blue one, and now we're going to pour in the orange one, and then we're going to take the clear one, and then we're going to do the same thing again. So I was pretty intimidated by this at first, but then, you know, when you stop for a while, just a moment, and think about it, then it sort of becomes
Now I can proceed further.
Clear as the liquid.
Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
So some of the words are missing and so on. So we will have to sort of deduce what it says.
Did as you
What
asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
So I did as you asked and hid them well, but I beg you to reconsider. And then it's your decision or something. I swear, remember our vows. I have done nothing dishonorable for which you, and then accuse me of, or something. That's what I was thinking. So the letter, sort of suggests that because he was trying to return it during the night, 2 days after the murder, basically. That means that because last time I remember thinking like there's a possibility he hasn't heard that the murders have taken place, but now I know that we can assume that he knows that the murders have taken place, because I always try to think in, you know, the possible, and then evidence sort of starts falling apart. So the better way to think about it is to make assumptions based on the more sort of logical notion or interpretation, and then see where that leads in a way, and how the other evidence sort of fits in. And I'm not really good at this kind of stuff, which makes these games sort of infinitely interesting, because I know that there's probably always something that I'm missing, like unless it's a really, really simple thing. So yeah, that line of questioning is that that line of thinking is that the letter is for the wife, rather than for Carrie, because Carrie is dead. And that would sort of put him, he's already in the area, because his boots fit the boot prints inside the inside the sort of the walls of that area. So that means that he's been there definitely. So the wife knows him, and Carrie knew this guy, or at least the wife knows him if the letter's for him. And then we'll figure out what he's hiding, because at this stage, the notion would be that he is hiding the money and the tin box, and whoever took the tin box is the killer. I should also sort of state facts, because, well, not necessarily, but more than likely. Because the door was locked the next morning. Who else would have been there before? So this sort of limits the killers to... killers are limited to the wife and whomever has the box, because it's sort of unlikely that someone would come in and steal the box randomly that night. It would be too much of a coincidence. So we're not going to go with it's absolutely certain, but you know, it would be logical. Because I doubt the game would sort of add, because there's no evidence for anyone else being there except for Hurtley now and then the wife. They're both confirmed to have been there. And also, of course, Nelligan the Younger has been there as well, because his notebook is there and he tried to sneak in and everything. So we have 3 people who are at the scene. So, yeah, just to conclude the thought is that whoever has the tin box is more than likely the killer. Whoever has it to whomever. God damn it, I can't remember that anymore.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely. And considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
So one thing I was thinking about, irrelevant of this exact conversation, is that who has the tin box? The hotel visit is something interesting. So either the kid is at the hotel with money, or then it's Mycroft. If it's Mycroft, then the kid being at the hotel means that he is there visiting Mycroft, and Mycroft is sort of pulling his strings, and then, which would make sense because if the kid has the money, he could just leave, I guess. He could go to France and just disappear, basically. But it has to be Mycroft. Now that I'm thinking about it, sort of irrelevant here, but still. So let's look at him first. So the cap looks like it is. It looks like it's a sort of sailor cap, but I don't know. And he has the scar. And right, his hands are gardener hands, but I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. I remember thinking like he has dirt on his fingers or something, but I was looking at these scars too, and then Sherlock deducts that it is, or assumes that it is, gardener hands. Oh right, and then because the sun is shining on my screen, I cannot see this, and I missed this the last time as well. Plant remains on his pants. And then there is the crested tit, which is exactly the same as on the book cover. So now we're going to ask him we're going to ask him a bit more of a neutral question first. Get sort of our bearings here.
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
So he's been in there and he was around there too.
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
So, also to note, second pair of boots, of course. Second pair of boots would suggest either that he is... Why would he carry... Well, he didn't even realize that the boot prints were made, in a sense. But why would he carry a second pair of boots around, especially if he murdered someone with them on and stuff? And why was he even carrying them around at night, in a sense, also? But it would suggest that he has a second pair for some reason, and the reason is work boots. And work boots inside the area would suggest that he is the gardener that is being mentioned all the time. Although I was very unsure about it first, and then I started thinking that this guy is he's like a family or kin to the wife, and though that's why the wife says that there is no gardener. And then we figured out, or I figured out, that it is actually someone that is has sort of at least some romantic relation with the wife in some sense. Because he's speaking of vows and stuff, and the letter was to the wife because Carrie is already dead.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
Right. So at this point, he's a gardener, everything points toward it, and now he admitted it, so that's fine. Now the wife is lying too, and we can sort of imagine why, because she's trying to protect him, at least in some way. So let's see what he hid.
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one, but it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
Right, so what I was thinking is that Sherlock is going to sort of trick Liam Hurtley by reading the first sentence of the letter and then allowing Hurtley to sort of explain what the rest of it. But Hurtley knows what's on it, and he knows about the missing parts, I would assume, because he says that. Oh wait, actually, maybe not. Let me check the documents here. And hid them well. Right, so maybe because he doesn't mention what he's hidden, so maybe he does, but he doesn't know that there's parts missing, perhaps. So now it's about, asking the wife tough questions, putting her on the spot. But again, I think we need maybe we don't need more evidence, but we need all the possible evidence rather, so that we can have multiple angles to sort of engage her with. The last time I looked around for the tool shed, and then this popped up, so I sort of know where I'm going. So I'll ask her about it.
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam. Let's see what could be hidden there.
So when that sort of hint on the top right pops up, it means that we can use the skill. However, I decided that I'm going to first look and then find what I'm looking for with the tip, or make sure that that's the thing that I'm looking for. And it's a nice system in a way. It does sort of spoil it that you know that you're looking for something special with it. So even maybe that hint shouldn't be there in a sense. Maybe you can even turn it off somewhere, I don't know, but there's a crack on the floor, and that's what I found. So there were words about a tin box. Either I mentioned it now and then remember it from last time, or then someone already in these videos as well mentioned it. But this is a small wooden box, and now we're gonna see a lockpicking sort of mini game for this game.
Let us see what is in this box.
And it's sort of strange. because they could just make the lockpicking sort of the way it actually is in real life, in some sense at least, but they choose not to. So I need to make the sort of lines connect. And yeah, these are sort of there hasn't, when I played this, I don't remember there being any sort of tough ones.
A bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hertley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
Leah, my dear, you have been so good to me all the time that I have known you. I cannot describe these feelings, but I suppose that they are sinful and no good can come from them. I fear what might happen. I fear going against God. I thank you for your care, but I cannot leave the man with whom I have been bound by God. It is his divine will, and thus my husband in the cross that I must. Thus my husband is the cross that I must bear. He makes my life a living hell, but bruises fade, and you must not worry me. Worry for me, damn it. So I'm thinking, because I have recollection a little bit of the clues that come from these things, and there was one that either, it was pretty extreme, but it was either that this is nothing serious, or then that it is serious and it gives motive in a way. Because I think with Hertley's letter, they've already sort of exchanged vows, but I need to look at that again. Remember our vows. So that would hint at him and her having a deeper relationship than just a superficial one. So they've already sort of vowed to each other things. And then the letter is here. It doesn't have a date, but she has decided that she will not leave the husband. So if the husband is out of the picture, then he could get the wife. And since Carrie was violent, there might be a chance that he might actually succeed, because he is sort of saving her from him, but then he should also know, not sure how smart he is, but he should know that she's also a devout Christian, so that would be pretty serious for her. So if he's not a total idiot, or if he assumed that he would automatically get her after getting rid of the husband, that would sort of not make sense, because well, at least not to everybody, because she hasn't told on him though. So there's a question, maybe she knows more than she says, or then she knows more than she's saying, or then she isn't as really as devout as you would imagine. Well, nobody's perfect, but we are going to talk to her in the next episode and sort of try to figure this all out. But things are getting very, I think, confusing for me, but I will take a moment to think about things after I talk to her, I think, and then we'll figure out what we'll do. But for now, I'll leave this here, and I'll see you in the next episode when we try to digger for some clues.